The concerns expressed in the State of Conservation report relate to concerns that have been reported to the committee for just over 30 years. And they arise from the cumulative erosion of the attributes of outstanding universal value and not just from the impact of one or more major projects. At the time of inscription of this mixed property on the list in 1980, the well-preserved old towns of Охрид and Struga were set in an almost untouched natural landscape, which was seen to be of exceptional beauty and an essential part of their setting. By 1988, the first mission to the property noted the enormous increase in constructions and settlement activities that had seriously altered the original balance in the region, with the town of Struga having grown to incorporate new communities. It also noted that economic and demographic developments posed threats to the values of the property and needed to be addressed through an integrated approach and protective measures that linked cultural and natural heritage preservation. The mission report called for a special legal framework for the World Heritage Site, strengthening of management, and the preparation of a spatial plan. Nearly all these measures are still needed. A further mission was invited in 2013 and found similar problems to the earlier one: the lack of adequate legal framework, completely separate regimes, and so on. It also found that on a symbolic hill overlooking Охрид, a 9th century monastic church had been reconstructed and development started on large buildings for a new St. Clement's University. It found too uncontrolled development in some parts of the city and even more along the lakeshore. And, as earlier, the coordination between culture and nature was still not in place, nor adequate management and protection. That mission in 2013 concluded that all of this had eroded authenticity and integrity. It recommended that given the sensitivity of the built remains of the property and the need to maintain its important visual qualities, management arrangements needed to become fully operational as soon as possible, and conservation policies enforced to control outstanding universal value. The last mission to the property in 2017 found more major development and infrastructure projects being considered and urged the state party to undertake a strategic impact assessment on the cumulative impacts of all these major projects on the property's OUV. And overall, they also found there was still a lack of adequate management and protection arrangement, with no management plan yet being in place. The committee, in considering this mission report, concluded that the overall state of conservation of the property was increasingly vulnerable, and if the priority recommendations suggested by the mission were not implemented within the 2-year time frame, the property may face danger in line with the operational guidelines. The current state of conservation has addressed these priority recommendations and whether they have been undertaken, and the conclusion is that the majority remain unfulfilled, as do the majority of committee requests. The statement of outstanding universal value for the property highlights the concentration of the archaeological remains and urban structures, not just within the old centre of Охрид, but also along the coast of the lake, as well as in the surrounding area, all of which together create an exceptionally harmonious ensemble, and one that has coherence, arising from this relationship between the buildings and the surrounding landscape. We still do not have in place the necessary underpinnings of a management system that could control the gradual erosion of these attributes. And these threats are facing the property and have been since its first mission 21 years ago. And added to these threats are the further adverse impacts of large-scale infrastructure and development. ICMOS considers that both individually and collectively, this represents a potential danger to outstanding universal value, that urgent measures are needed to address these threats, and that these measures need to be implemented in as short a timescale as possible in order to stop the continuing erosion of attributes to outstanding universal value. To this end, we consider that the danger listing process should be used as a supportive tool. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. IUCN, please.
Thank you, Chair. IUCN recalls that the 2017 reactive monitoring mission to the property, which observed the presence of numerous threats to Lake Ohrid's aquatic environment, including uncontrolled discharge and pollution due to inadequate wastewater treatment systems, heavy pressures from tourism, extensive uncontrolled urban development, and inappropriate exploitation of the coastal zones. As already highlighted by ICAMOS following the conclusion of the mission, that the overall state of conservation of the property was increasingly vulnerable, the committee at its 41st session concluded that if the mission's priority recommendations were not implemented within a 2-year framework, the property may face potential danger. Some of the issues facing the property had already been noted with concern even at previous committee decisions. At its 40th session, the committee further noted that the Railway Corridor 8 and Highway A2 were likely to cause potentially significant negative impacts on the OUV of the property and considered that these projects appear to represent a potential danger to the property's OUV. IUCN concurs with the view of ICAMOS that no significant progress has been achieved in addressing these threats and that the majority of committee's requests and mission recommendations remain to be fulfilled. In conclusion, IUCN considers that these numerous threats, combined with the continued lack of key management systems and processes and planning documents, combined also with large-scale infrastructure and development projects, represent a clear case of potential danger to the property. It is considered that the property meets the criteria for inscription on the list of World Heritage in danger in line with paragraphs 178 and 180 of the Operation Guidelines, and it is recommended that the committee therefore inscribe the property on the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments? I don't see any. Please. Two observers, please. You're welcome. Introduce yourself and then.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm giving this message from the Охрид SOS NGO in Macedonia as a part of the World Heritage Watch Network. The Охрид region holds one of the most species-rich lakes on Earth, perhaps the most florally diverse mountain in Europe, and secrets of 6 millennia of human settlements on its shores, mixed with World Heritage of 40 years standing. Drop by drop, it is being destroyed. Wetland loss, eutrophication, overfishing, illegal construction, infrastructure by road, rail, and ship, tourism expansion, hydropower, fires, habitat fragmentation, and reckless waste disposal are all documented pressures on contributing to its death. Lake Охрид is even identified as the most climate vulnerable freshwater on the whole European continent. The World Heritage Committee knows these threats. Endorsing 19 reactive monitoring mission recommendations from 2017, it requested concrete remedial action, including a moratorium on transformation, management of illegal construction, wastewater revitalization, railroad reconsideration, and imposition of the rule of law. None is actualized, and most others are still outstanding, delayed by a state party that deceives the World Heritage Convention with its tactical mistruths. So entering the Охрид region's 40th anniversary as a World Heritage Site, it is not just World Heritage in danger, but World Heritage in multiple proliferating dangers. The World Heritage Committee must now take the firmest stand against its fall. Urgent and determined action is required. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have Hungary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Hungary is, shortly to say, in favor of this site. It is one of the most important and most relevant mixed sites in Europe. So it is very important to keep it in, of course, the best position. And know that maybe also it can be an international serial site. It is very important to have at the same level of conservation, both in natural as in cultural level, also in the future. So on the one side, Hungary supports this nomination and gives, if it is noted, any support to the state party, how to solve these very serious problems. But on the other side, we have to see also the problems as well. I would like to ask whether the state party could have the floor for a few minutes, because it is possible that in the meantime there has been made some good interventions to make the site much better and safer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Tunisia.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Alors, nous voudrions tout d'abord remercier toutes les instances consultatives pour le travail qui a été fait et les rapports éclairants qui nous ont été présentés et bien évidemment les dangers et les menaces qui ont été soulignés sont absolument préoccupantes pour les membres du comité. Mais il y a un certain nombre de points qui ont été soulevés, relatifs par exemple à l'absence d'un cadre juridique de protection. Nous avons cru comprendre et apprendre qu'il y avait des démarches positives prises déjà par l'État partie en ce sens, ainsi que d'autres mesures. Donc la Tunisie souhaite que l'État partie s'exprime pour dire quelles sont les dispositions qui ont été prises et quelle est la lecture de l'avenir de ce site. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Brazil, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. I would like, first of all, to thank the advisory bodies for their detailed report on their concerns about the state of conservation of this site, which is one of the most important sites, mixed sites in Europe. I believe it should be highlighted that in the very short period of time of 20 months, the state party has completed a significant number of recommendations made by the advisory bodies, such as the halting of the procedure for modification of the management plan of Galicica National Park, the construction projects of the A3 road and the Galicica ski resort. The state party has also shown a strong commitment to comply with the recommendations of the advisory bodies, which is evidenced by the very high-level delegation that came from Skopje, especially to promote this site at this meeting of the World Heritage Committee. We are aware that the number of recommendations made by the advisory bodies are still pending, but considering the progress that has already been accomplished, we believe that the country will be more stimulated to implement the pending recommendations if it has 1 year more of time before the site is included on the list of World Heritage in danger. I would now ask you if there is any amendment proposed to the draft decision, and after this I would like to take the floor again in support or about the text that will be proposed. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is going to Bosnia, please.
Bosnie-Herzégovine est favorable à donner plus de temps à Macédoine du Nord, comme proposé dans notre amendement. concernant Охрид pour améliorer la situation sur le terrain. Les raisons sont les suivantes. Il s'agit d'un endroit exceptionnel qui mérite toute notre attention. 2. Depuis l'adoption de la décision 41 COM 7B.34, le gouvernement de Macédoine du Nord a fait preuve d'une activité dans le sens d'améliorer la situation sur le terrain. Nous considérons qu'un an de plus va encourager davantage la Macédoine du Nord dans cet effort positif et n'engage que ce pays. L'objectif est de sauver un endroit exceptionnel et nous proposons aussi qu'on donne la possibilité à la délégation de la Macédoine du Nord de se prononcer sur ce sujet. Merci.
Thank you. Spain, please.
Gracias, señor presidente. Con brevedad y sin entrar en consideraciones, puesto que hemos visto que no se habían presentado enmiendas sobre la consideración del tiempo que se pueda dar o no, sí que nos preguntamos junto con Hungría si sería posible escuchar al Estado parte. Hemos escuchado a una ONG, conocemos el informe que entendemos y admitimos de los órganos consultivos, pero nos preguntamos si sería posible, ya que decía nuestra colega de Brasil que hay una importante delegación de Macedonia, pues que nos ilustrara sobre la idea que tiene el Gobierno de Macedonia y sobre cuáles han sido los avances y qué pretensiones de avanzar tiene en el futuro. Somos conscientes de los problemas que ha tenido este Estado y, por tanto, nos ilustraría mucho una intervención del Estado si la mesa considera que es posible.
Thank you very much. China, please.
Thank you, Chair. China supports the view expressed just by Brazil, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and other countries, and we also welcome the opportunity given to the North Macedonia delegation to express themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, let me thank the advisory board for their report and their concern regarding there is some positive in the report, negative, and their concern about the potential affecting the OUV. And also, we're looking, there is some progress. It might be slow progress, not to the what we are looking for or the advisory body looking for, but at least there is some progress, and we think the state party might give it, some time some more time for their improvement on the situation, and after that we can see if it can be on the danger list. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My delegation also joins the previous speakers and supports the statement made by Brazil that we need to first of all to appreciate the efforts of the state party. And also, given that the state party, and given that these extreme measures are rather discouraging than encouraging state parties, we would appreciate if the more time will be given to the state party to mitigate those threats that occur to the site. So we support also the amendments to the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Australia, please.
Australia also notes the progress that has been made by the new government and supports the amendments to the draft decision.
Thank you. Cuba, please.
Gracias, señor presidente. Cuba también, en principio, aprueba la propuesta de enmienda, pero nos gustaría oír el Estado parte para tener total certeza de esa necesidad de más tiempo. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Now, I think that it's time to give the floor to the honorable delegation from North Macedonia, who are with us today. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the committee members for giving us the opportunity to address the committee. The government of the Republic of North Macedonia remains fully committed to the maintaining the World Heritage status for the natural and cultural heritage in Охрид region. maintaining the integrity and the authenticity of the natural and cultural heritage of the Охрид region. Republic of North Macedonia is particularly proud to have had the region on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This year we are celebrating 40 years since inscription. In 2 years since the reactive monitoring mission came to the region in April 2017, the new government, elected in June 2017, made significant steps were undertaken to address the situation and establish parameters for clear, long-term governing structure that would prevent abuses and repeated degradations. I will briefly mention just a few of them. In this period, the state party has abandoned completely the construction of A3 road, subsections as per recommendation number 4, and plans for a ski center in National Park Galičica Ski Center project. Lake water levels are properly monitored and maintained. Traffic in Охрид Old City has been restricted and strict traffic regimes are being maintained. A strategic environmental assessment has been conducted since January. A draft has been produced and is currently in the public consultation process. The findings of that assessment will be used to strengthen the draft management plan as per recommendations. The management plan will adapt it no later than December, as well as an assessment for possible solution for buffer zone for property with input from the center and advisory boards. The relevant state institutions and municipalities have been tasked to compile an inventory of illegal built structures within the property by September. The state party strongly believes that it is able to significantly improve the state of the natural and cultural heritage in Охрид region by continuing the work initiated in July 2017. Over 2 last years, the new government of North Macedonia has demonstrated the world that is able to deliver positive results, and it's fully intended to deliver on the protection and affirmation of natural and cultural heritage of the region as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Now, as far as I see, there is a wish to make some amendments from Albania. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. As we are a neighboring country and we share the Lake Ohrid, let me just add a few words. First, to recognize the efforts of North Macedonia for their efforts to preserve and protect the natural and cultural attributes of the Ohrid region. Albania and Macedonia share the Lake of Ohrid, this superb and extraordinary natural resource of particular importance for both our countries, and as it was mentioned by many members of the committee, for the whole Europe. We understand the resolve of the authorities of North Macedonia and trust their commitment to properly deal with the issues identified. Our countries are bound by the lake, which is only a part of an ever stronger network of ties at all levels. In 2005, our countries concluded an agreement creating a joint management committee composed of representatives of local and central power to deal with issues related to the protection of the Lake Ohrid, including water quality and fishing. Since 2018, we organize a yearly government-to-government meeting, the whole government, where issues related to Ohrid are on top of the agenda. Of course, as it was identified, much more needs to be done. We are resolved to put in place specific, effective integration and implementation of planning processes at various levels to deal with vulnerabilities and threats, to develop a cross-sectoral cooperation, improve community participation and transboundary conservation in order to achieve a successful long-term management of Lake Ohrid, because it will depend not only from one party. To this end, we will fully operationalize a joint coordinating body and joint management planning in order to make sure that both the natural and cultural values of the property are conserved in a fully integrated manner. Let me repeat, Mr. Chairman, Ohrid is our shared treasure, and we are determined to do what it needs that it stays a treasure. Therefore, in the view of the transformational changes in North Macedonia, we strongly encourage the committee to provide more time to the state parties to properly deal with the issues, and I thank you for the time that you provided.
Thank you very much. Now we have Europa Nostra wanted to NGO to give some comments on this matter, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of Europa Nostra, I wish to express the full support of our vast European movement of heritage NGOs for the proposed decision which has been put forward to the World Heritage Committee. We wish to congratulate the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies for the very clear analysis and the very robust provisions of the proposed decisions, which reflect the serious and continuous threats which the natural and cultural heritage of the Охрид region have been facing for so many years. We are of the opinion that the inscription of the natural and cultural heritage of the Охрид region on the World Heritage List in danger should be perceived also by the state party as the willingness of the international community to ring the alarm bell and help raise the consciousness not only among the political leaders and public authorities, but also among the business community and citizens at large, that the continuation of the current situation is contrary to the principles of sustainable development and to the responsibilities related to the World Heritage status of the natural and cultural heritage of the Охрид region. We are convinced that by adopting the proposed decision, the World Heritage Committee would live up to its very important responsibility of being the guardian both of the letter and of the spirit of the World Heritage Convention. And we very much hope that you will also demonstrate the same firm commitment when discussing other cases of endangered World Heritage sites, such as the Venice and its lagoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now I think that we have to finish with the intervention, and we will move with the questions to Rapporteur about the draft decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As flagged, we've received some amendments on this decision from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil, China and Hungary. The first three paragraphs, as you can see, are not amended or proposed for amendment, nor paragraph 4. The first change is in paragraph 5, which would now read, notes that partial progress has been made, and then the paragraph continues as it was originally written. Paragraph 6 also changed to say, notes that the state party is not regularly informing the World Heritage Centre of projects and planning activities being developed within the boundaries of the property in accordance with paragraph 172 of the operational guidelines. Paragraph 7 also amended. Notes with concern that the state party has not yet addressed the recommendations on the Railway Corridor 8, despite the committee's request to consider alternative routes outside the property, and in fact the rest of that paragraph remains unamended. Then there is a new paragraph 8 proposed. Notes with satisfaction that the state party's action on the long-term projects, including the wastewater management system and redirecting of the river Satexka, and furthermore welcomes the government's adoption of law on management of the natural and cultural heritage in the Охрид region, as well as the government decision taken in June 2019 tasking all relevant domestic institutions to implement the recommendations of the World Heritage Centre. Former paragraph 8 is proposed for complete deletion, and also former paragraph 9. Former paragraph 10 is unchanged other than changing the numbering, and then the former paragraph 11 is also proposed for deletion. And then the last paragraph is also amended. Finally requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Centre by 1 February 2020 an updated report on the state of conservation of the property for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 44th session in 2020, with a view to considering, in case of the confirmation of the potential or a certain danger to its outstanding universal value, the possible inscription of the property on the list of the World Heritage in danger. Thank you, Mr. Chair.